Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Evently Live Chat Show. Today, we're going to have a special guest with us. Her name is Stefania Calleja, and she is the managing director and cooking tutor at Healthylicious Cooking Classes. We actually work with them on Evently. They do different activities for team building, and even on a personal note, when you're looking to do perhaps like a fun hen event or just like a birthday party or just a gathering with your friends. I'm just going to invite Stefania into the live stream. Hi, Stefania.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Cool, cool,
You?
cool. Good, good. It's been a busy day.
Yes. Um,
Finally.
so I would like to thank you first of all for the invite to be on this chat show with you and our viewers. So thank
Cool.
you for that.
No, thank you very much. Just for everyone to know, me and Stefania were actually talking this week. She had already seen a bit of the shows, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to showcase the services that she is offering. Because from my end, I see both ends: corporate, like companies doing like team building events where they look to do cooking classes, and I think it's really good to get that interaction where you're trying to work on something that is outside of the box. It's not the normal that we have our computers in front of us, and we're trying to deal with the team members. And at the same time, it's different because it's not always drinking and eating basically with the office team. But actually, before we get into it, Stefania, I'd like you to introduce yourself for everyone because I said a very short introduction about you. So I'd like to know where you started and how you came about to launching Healthylicious.
Okay, so let me start with a little background information about myself. So my profession is education. I've been working full time as a teacher of home economics for the past 8 years now.
Okay.
And ever since I started studying the subject, but especially during university years, I realized that I want to delve deeper into health, into food subjects. So that's when I also started working at. I spent some time working at the first vegan cafe in Malta quite a while ago. At the time, it was a bit avant-garde. But I had already adopted a vegetarian diet back then. But it was really an eye opener, especially to get to know about these new foods, superfoods like spirulina, quinoa. It was all new back then. Then a few years later, I followed a course in vegan cooking in the UK. I studied pastry and baking at ITS locally, then also attended quite a few cooking classes in different countries, practically every place that I've traveled to. That's actually the primary reason why I travel, to experience like different foods and learn more about different cuisines from the locals. Food markets, cooking classes, that sort of activities. And I think these were like the key experiences which helped me grow in terms of culinary knowledge and skills.
Okay.
So as much as I love being an educator, I love being a student, and I believe that training and learning is important also to strengthen my role as an educator. So I think that is fundamental. And even, in fact, I'm currently reading a master's degree, and I'm researching, in fact, the impact of cooking interventions, so it's my area, on people's nutritional knowledge, cooking skills, like food-related preferences and attitudes, how this can actually change and lead to behavior change. So
Amazing.
as so
I
as
didn't know
a
any of this, just FYI for everyone. Amazing.
okay, so as a food educator, I can say that I've used various media and spheres along my journey so far to educate on food, on sustainability, health, and other topics of interest which are quite interconnected uh, to different age groups and people from different walks of life. So I've contributed with recipes which featured in magazines, through live cooking on a TV program for the last 4 years now, 4 different seasons. Um, and I'm also the chair of an NGO, Home Economists in Action, and together with fellow home economists, our main activity in recent years, especially, has been the running of a community-based project called Alberta. And the aim of this project is that of improving the quality of life of individuals and families, and basically educating about maximizing the use of resources, a more sustainable way of living. Basically, that's the primary aim of that course. So we're doing it through different local councils. So, and we're doing the second follow-up course, because we're almost done every local council, the first program, and we're doing a follow-up. So that's a little background about what I do and my work.
It's quite an extensive background. I
But
think you've put in a
yeah,
lot of research to understand what you're doing, and even teaching the right concepts to every different person that is encountering you and starting to learn with you, basically.
yes. So then after, so how Healthylicious started, how it came about. So after the first year of teaching, so this was summer 2013, I had this idea to create an opportunity, like a space where I could promote healthy cooking outside the classroom. So beyond the constraints of the subject syllabus, because it is quite limited. So I wanted to do something which is my own, my creation. So I thought of organizing the first cooking courses for anyone who is interested in cooking healthier in a more conscious way. And I took the leap. So I started off with a few participants. It wasn't a big group. I can't say that the first and the second, even the third series were profitable, but it was a start. So I looked at this initiative as a learning experience. For me, it was also a great satisfaction to enjoy, which I find in my work, that the impact that these cooking classes can have on the participants. So that's the satisfaction, and that was enough for that time. But yes, then this venture picked up speed. Eventually, the style also shifted from courses to one-off classes, because maybe that required a little bit less commitment from people. The approach moved away from demo-based to more interactive, to more hands-on, based also on participant feedback. Some food themes are recurrent, while others are newly created, so they change also, especially for my returning clients. So that's how Healthylicious started, the journey so far.
Very good, very good. And how long has this process been? Well, like, when did you start with Healthylicious specifically?
So it was summer 2013, and haven't stopped.
Okay. Wow. So you've been
throughout the
7
way.
years now.
Yeah.
Super. Well done. Well done. Now, as Healthylicious, you offer different. So you had the classes. Now you transitioned into doing sort of like events, team building, and personal. And I know that you started with the group activities, the personal events. So maybe you want to explain a bit for everyone the different things that you can do, and even just the different types of events, one-on-ones, classes, specifically to personal events.
Okay, so mainly the cooking classes are targeted for the general public, like adults who are interested in cooking, particularly healthy, more plant-based cooking, because they're vegetarian recipes,
Okay.
which we do. I try to organize a 3-hour cooking class regularly, once every 1 or 2 months, if I do not manage the monthly classes. But I choose a theme, and people interested in that particular food theme, like, for example, Middle Eastern, Indian, canapes, anything. I just pick a theme, and those who are interested would book for that class. So that's how it started, and I'm still carrying with that type of system. However, I sometimes organize also adult and child cooking workshops, which are usually seasonal, like Carnival, Easter, Halloween, Christmas. I try to keep those for sure in the as part of the calendar, where children and an accompanying adult could be a parent, or sometimes another family member, work alongside each other, and through this cooking experience, they would be dedicating some quality time in the kitchen together, like, and also creating memories whilst learning some cooking skills, because that's the benefit of these cooking classes as
And
well.
maybe getting our kids to eat more vegetables.
Yes.
Because it's fun
Okay.
to cook
So
them.
yes, and in the healthy way, healthy yet tasty recipes. So that's
Exactly.
my aim, which I'm trying to change some attitudes with regards to healthy eating. But then, as you said, I've started having requests for customized cooking classes for closed specific groups, both personal and corporate. So in this case, the food experience would be tailor-made according to the client's scope and preference, whether the purpose is more social or more educational. So far, I've done cooking workshops as social corporate events, educational talks on like healthy eating and nutrition and cooking demos, and obviously then the food tasting sessions, sometimes even as part of health awareness events,
Okay.
like um, corporates, like teams would organize a health awareness week or obesity awareness. So that kind of stuff. I've also had the opportunity to plan and carry out a program which is at the workplace. So it was a workplace wellness program, which included a combination of nutrition education and more hands-on cooking at a
Okay.
particular company. Baby shower, cooking parties. So it's
Cool.
really quite a mix.
Yes.
Hence, cooking parties and children's birthday parties. So
And this
that's
can
quite
be
it.
something
With
fun
some
where people are, for example, you could have like an organic type of wine, for example, while you're learning to cook
yeah
different things and you're celebrating and then going into, I think it's a really cool idea, for example, having a farmhouse, and then one of the days you go in and, you have this whole afternoon where you're learning different things and
yeah.
you're making something useful out of it. It's something interactive. Um, so,
Yes, usually I have my venue and the classes are carried out at a specific venue. But yes, as
okay.
you're saying, this kind of service can be held at another venue.
Sorry, I
Definitely.
didn't. I knew that you have your own venue. Sorry, but to clarify, okay, then if it's possible, then you'd take it out into the venue of
Yes,
your
yes.
choice. Cool. I don't know if maybe you
Um,
want to mention perhaps like the funnest personal event maybe you've had. You've been 7 years now.
yes. So, well, I must say that I meet very sweet people at the workshop. So I have a blast with the participants at every class. So that's for sure. It's true that there's a lot of planning and preparation involved beforehand during the 3 hour, class, facilitating the session, and after the class with long hours of preparation between things, because this is
Mhm.
a one girl show basically. But I don't consider this as work. So because I enjoy every second of it, there's always some funny moments, especially classes when I have children cooking.
Okay.
So I think those are um, the most vibrant classes which I have. But I can recall one of I'm not going to say funniest, but loveliest moments. It was an Indian themed hands cooking party. And I remember the girls wanting to keep the secret element up till the very moment that they arrived at the kitchen. And after a while, this bride to be appeared at the door dressed in the sari, a beautiful sari, and she was delighted and full of surprise that she didn't imagine that the girls would organize such a hands party for her. And then soon enough, the kitchen was smelling full of spices, and that brought back memories of India, where she met her boyfriend. So yes, speaking of the power of food, it can really connect people and bring nostalgia, and it's pretty. That was special. That was
Yes.
pretty amazing.
Super,
Um,
super. And even just
so
mentioning this, I think it's something really good. I think in Malta there's a bit of a tendency sometimes that when we're looking to do group activities, the major part is where we go out, we drink and we eat. But realistically, with all the different events, you can actually fill up a day and do different activities. I mean, there's people
yeah,
that do abseiling or activities or sports, there's cooking, there's so many different things. To fill out and actually create something that people will always remember. You know, if it's the first time that
yeah,
you're going or the first few times that you're going to a cooking class and then you're linking it to a special moment in a person's life, then it's always more memorable and more fun.
yeah.
Um, I know you've
Totally
already
agree.
mentioned, cool. I know you've already mentioned with corporate events, but I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add because I know there's a lot of different types of classes that you're offering.
Um, well, I'm always open for like new ideas and any type of request. So if it's within the this line of thought, if it's a particular event, I can. These are all. Each experience is unique. So
Okay.
I tailor the program, the recipes, according to the client. So there's communication, discussion with the client to really organize the event according to the client's preferences, basically. So I'm
Okay.
quite flexible with that.
And if you don't mind me asking, is it like when you're doing a team building activity for or a corporate event, is it a tendency that the team comes up with the concept of coming to want to do a cooking class together, or would it be normally coming from the higher end, like from the managers and so on, that want to integrate the team and help give these a different atmosphere, a different play area, playground sort of?
Usually it's either a member of the health and social club or the HR team, so someone from that particular company or will contact me, and then we just carry on with the communication and discussion to really understand what they have in mind,
Very good.
whether it's and the level of challenge. So I need to know like the level of cooking skills the team has, and that will I'm going to pitch according to this information and organize a specific particular challenge to that. Because obviously not
Very
everyone
good.
maybe feels comfortable working without a recipe and have a mystery box in front of them and just so I need to know that kind of information, and based on that I will then organize the particular event.
طيب, طيب. And if you don't mind me asking again, for example, again with corporate events, well, even and personal, is this something that everyone is around the table and each person is working on his own project, or is it normally where you get groups so that there is this mix where someone's doing this and someone's doing that, basically, sort of, and trying to build together?
So usually it's a workshop-based approach. So if it's a team of a group of 12 people, let's say participants, the kitchen is set up in four. It has four different stations.
Okay,
So the group will be working in like four subgroups, and each team will prepare a different recipe or more than one recipe. So
okay.
then the meal, the cooking activity is followed by a sit-down meal where everyone can taste all those recipes which were prepared by the different teams.
Cool, cool. I have another question for you. I'm sorry. Um,
Go
'Cause
ahead.
they're very good answers each one, and each different time I'm coming up with something different. But for example, we know in the workspace you're always going to have the person that is more competitive, the person that is more organized. Is there a certain level of competition that arises in these team building activities, or do you
Um,
even try to focus on it and build on it?
well, I try to get as much information beforehand, and then I leave it up to the team how to like they form the different sub teams to work and carry out the activity. So I leave that more to participants to decide, because I won't know that much of information, like if the personal characteristics. So I leave it up to the team to. But all of us in 1-2 minutes, the participants will just take their place in the 4 different stations, and then it's up to me to present the instructions, and then they will follow. So
Tajjeb. So
then it's up to them.
that extra bit of information, guys, will let you even create a competition, that fun
Yeah.
spark, always based on each different individual that is in the particular activity.
Even the food team, for example, like I do not decide the food team, so I communicate with the team, and I just ask, listen, what kind of food would you like to prepare, to work with, type of ingredients, if it's so it's really quite open, and then I just, with that information, I just work and plan accordingly.
Do you specifically try and randomly pick the people, or do you let them go and choose their own stations to go for?
Again, it depends. If they leave it up to me to decide, I just
Then
randomly pick and
yes,
choose,
exactly. I think that's very
So
good in a team building activity, that it's random, because otherwise you get those
yeah,
people, then again, that are always used to working each other. And the whole concept of a team building activity is to get the 2 people that are furthest away to interact and
yeah,
to know each other. I mean, that's what it's all about. If we're working 40 hours in an office every week, then guy, we need to know, we need to get
yeah.
more comfortable. Very good. All right. Thank you very much for all the questions that you've answered for me.
No
It's been
problem.
much clarified. Now, I do want to say thank you, because we've had points where we've had 30 people, 40 people, even 50 people plus watching you. And I just want to mention that if anyone has any questions or any feedback or anything, please do drop a comment so that Stefania will be able to answer any questions or feedback that you may have. Stefania, I am going to go into the next point,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically COVID. Now, COVID has brought a big change in scene, especially with services that are more hands-on, such as yourself. But I know
Mm-hmm.
that you've done quite a few adaptations, so maybe you want to explain them.
Yes. Well, this was last March, which is usually a busy period with preparations for the Easter Figolle workshops. So usually I do a number of these sessions, baking sessions for adults and kids. So
Okay.
this year, due to the COVID situation, I was still considering whether I should publish the dates. I was in that phase, whether I should, decide on the dates for the sessions. But then the schools shut down. We were locked in, etc. So I thought of shifting my classes online. So that was, the initial idea. Not just to keep the initiative, the business going, but also to keep like the general morale. It took me a few days to figure it out because I wanted the class to be live and interactive, so not just cooking demonstration. So I had to figure out what the ideal program. But I wanted to observe the clients as they cook, and they can watch me and follow me with the help of
Okay.
technology. Basically, that's what I did. So I managed to do that. So it was different. It was a new experience for me as a cooking tutor, and also for the participants, because you do not have that physical element. That is the only thing which was missing, I think. But the rest, well, everyone managed to prepare, create the Figolla successfully, including someone from the US. So just to mention a
Wow,
positive note.
cool.
So at least, having it online, that's could Maltese basically manage to log in and create the Figolla and have a taste of Malta from miles away, at least. So that was positive. Then that was the first online cooking class, but then I collaborated with Friends of the Earth. I worked closely with that NGO and organized another online sustainable cooking class last May, which also had quite a good turnout. In fact, we have also another some more classes planned in the pipeline with Friends of the Earth as well. We still have to decide whether they're going to be held online or
Online or
face to
face
face.
to face. Yeah. But
So
do you plan, or are you interested in trying to keep this element where you can offer basically both ways, face to face and even online?
yes, in fact, I'm currently having these thoughts about having blended approach. Like even if I return to like having face-to-face classes, someone can still follow from their home kitchen. So that way, it's more blended, and so I think that is the way to go from
Very good. No, I mean,
now.
on a weekly basis, I have this group that I meet them every 7 in the morning. And before I used to drive there, but now we've the last few months we've been doing these meetings online. And it's actually really great because we've been able to interact with people from all around the world. We have from America, we've had Italian, Indian, Asian, and it's nice because you're not alone, so you're collaborating with people, and all of a sudden you're in this workspace, in this online meeting with people that perhaps you haven't met before, but
Mhm.
have the same interests, or they're there for the same reason. So even morally, when a person, like in the last few months, a lot of people were just staying at home. So this sense
Yeah,
of doing online classes, for example, you're giving a sense for a person to be doing something, a change of scene. Like we've seen a lot of people, for
yeah.
example, making their own bread. And oh my gosh, I think my Facebook was spammed with all the bread that
Yes.
everyone was making.
Because usually, we live in quite a fast-paced lifestyle,
Yes,
most of us, and we don't have time for baking. So that's why people start to cook bread, other baked goods. So because that is not essential. I think everyday meals are already, a bit. We do them because they are a necessity, but
exactly.
other than that, it's quite
You're like
quite limited.
driven. You need to go to the fridge, see the fruits and veg you have at
Yeah,
7 in the morning, understand quickly within a 2 minute span what you're going to be cooking for the day.
yeah.
And it just comes out automatic.
And
Um,
that was, sorry,
yes, no, no, go, go.
I was going to say that was the main reason why I decided to go online and still do the Fugoli class, because it was in that particular moment where people were at home, and it was not just a pleasant period for most of us. So I thought,
And did
let's
you
go
do
ahead and do it.
the traditional figolla, or do you have a more healthier, um, yes.
Yes. So
I need to learn this then.
um, because this is my idea to also keep tradition alive, but if there are healthier alternatives or modifications that we can do, obviously that will still produce a good result, like lowering the fat content, lowering the sugar content, but using wholemeal flour for the pastry, these sorts of changes. So yes, in a way, it's healthier with limitations, but yeah,
I think we all need this class because year is the first time I did figoli, but I can tell you that there was so much sugar. They came out really good for the first time. I was okay, even I burnt a few of them. But the content of sugar that they
yeah,
have inside them.
it can be avoided to a certain degree. Yes,
I used to love figoli. I slightly love them less now after I've made them because I actually know how much sugar they have in them. So I think this is something very beneficial for people to start learning and understanding. Actually, at the end of the day, we have to take care of our bodies. It's eating good
yeah.
food, understanding what our body needs, and giving it the things that are right. And I know one of the points that you wanted to mention
Mm-hmm.
were the actual benefits of cooking classes for participants.
Yes. So to start with the most obvious, as we're discussing here, the aim of a cooking class is to improve the culinary knowledge, culinary skills, which could lead to more cooking self-efficacy, so that one can feel more capable, more confident, how to maybe like modify a recipe, how to lower the sugar, the fat content, use wholemeal flour, as we're saying. But reflecting also back to on my cooking, my home economic skills, and also my food philosophy, basically. Um, Healthylicious classes offer like more insight on food, nutrition, sustainability practices, for example, being more economical when buying and storing ingredients. So it's not just about the cooking, but other practices. How to reduce food waste. All these concepts come together as part of the cooking, or when we're having the meal, I can discuss more about like particular ingredients or cooking methods, alternatives, even how to maybe adapt a particular recipe to suit different dietary requirements. So my background facilitates that. So it's not just about cooking. So that's for sure. But other than the learning aspect, there's the social aspect, okay? Especially when obviously these are held face to face. Because we all know that food connects. So there's no question about that. But we might not be aware of that the cooking then strengthens that connection. So it's not just about food, because a meal can suit that purpose, but it's the cooking part which really strengthens the bond and the connection between people, between the relationship between you and the food. So from a social perspective, participants, like for the usual cooking classes, get to mingle with others, usually like-minded people, and get to know others. If they're like parents cooking with their children, they choose the particular cooking class as a leisure activity, like to enjoy time in the kitchen with their children for different reasons. They do not get to do it maybe that often at home. So they choose to like baking, for example, as we mentioned earlier. Like family and also friends can come together to create and organize this activity. So, for example, why not celebrate like special occasions with a meal like we usually do? Why is this maybe starting to become more popular to organize a cooking class? So a meal and the cooking class, they both feature food. They both focus on the food and the act of eating, right? But
yes,
and you have the loved ones around you. So you have those common elements. But what is missing in a meal, and this maybe is a kind of a different experience, is that it offers deeper connection with the food that you're cooking, which is missing in a meal because you're just eating, not cooking with ingredients. You don't have it's not the same as in terms of sensory experience, because you're cooking the food, not eating it. And you have the special people in your life which are who are with you cooking, and then obviously followed by the meal. So it's a completely different experience. It's more holistic experience, which I find is beneficial in a cooking class. When it comes to team building experiences, again, as I'm saying, nothing creates like stronger ties even between colleagues than the time spent in the kitchen. So like cooking competitions demand conversation. You need to speak to your obviously to decide on which recipe to prepare, and it will give out that laughter and positive energy, especially if a glass of wine or a bottle of beers enjoyed during the cooking. So these are all benefits of cooking classes. So
very
it's not
good.
just the learning, but there's the social element, which is important
Very good, very
to
good.
mention.
And it didn't even actually cross my mind that it's not just even about the cooking class, but also, for example, interacting with children, understanding how to even
Yeah,
clean the different and products
yeah.
that you're using, even when just peeling, for example, a fruit or a vegetable, trying to reduce waste, throwing away things the right way, for example, because these are things that perhaps in our day to day, again, we've gotten used to doing them as a standard, but
Mhm.
creating again this event opens everyone's eyes to actually know, even just that person that is cooking that meal for you every night, really
Yeah.
that amount of process that is being entailed to deliver that final finished meal.
Mhm. And especially nowadays, that I think there's there's a disconnection between even the relationship between us and the food we eat. We don't maybe stop and realize where the food comes from, or we're missing that. So I really try to bring that out in the cooking classes, which I
Very
organize.
good. As in, like, are you buying local vegetables, or are you buying something imported
Yes.
from I don't know where, basically? All right, okay, very good, very good. I have been noticing as well with all the different shows that we've been doing, even restaurants, and so a lot of people have been pushing to start for people just to buy local produce. To help the farmer that is there, because of course they have a very hard job. They do a lot of work to deliver something fresh that we can then, eat. And then there is this standard sort of that when you go into a big supermarket, you're going to find grapes of Malta, grapes of this place, grapes of that place, and you just
Yeah.
go for the nicest looking box. We don't actually go and read the information that is on it.
Yes. In fact, this I'm a firm believer of sustainability, and I try to also promote, buying local, buying seasonal, not just to help the local farmers. You get more fresh produce that way. You're reducing food miles. You're not contributing to so much pollution, whatever.
Exactly.
So there are so much benefits, advantages of buying local and seasonal. So all this really, I think, we are at a stage that we need to transform some of our food and cooking practices.
Mhm.
So I think it's really important to really stop and question what we're doing.
Yes, it's true. It's
Um,
true. For example, just to mention this, I'm going to mention this last one. We go to the next point. But up to a few months ago, I was actually at Ben's house. I mean, my boss at Event and Get Hitched, and I just saw him, and the chips he was making them fresh. Actually, the Maltese potato, chopping. And we have such a standard. Yet, you go to the supermarket, you buy the packet chips, they're done. I have no idea with what they've been preserved with or anything. They're in my freezer. They're easy. But since
yes.
I've copied and I've started doing this, everyone loves them. I love them. I could eat them alone because the flavor is completely different. So
Mhm.
it's not just me
Yeah.
being stopping thinking perhaps I'm spending a bit more time, but the food is coming out much
Mhm.
better.
And the quality of a meal of food, it depends much on the quality of the raw ingredients. So that is key. You need to use quality ingredients in order to have a tasty
Good finished,
creation. And
exactly, a good finished result.
yes,
Very
so
good.
it doesn't have to be complex, but in all the simplicity and with just a few ingredients, you can create a good tasting meal.
Yes. And I
So.
think this was something, I mean, like 20 years ago, we didn't have all this importation and pesticide and all these things were being used. So perhaps we are going back and understanding again and starting to because it's completely different. 20 years ago they did not go buy everything packaged. You would
Mhm.
have the farm go and build a meal. Like when I was younger, I remember my meal would be full of vegetables
Mhm.
alone.
And that is important, that we dig deep and really find our roots. I think we really need to move back and go back to also, you know, not our ancestors, but yes, some of the knowledge, the food knowledge, and recipes are quite lost, and we need to revive most of that,
Cool.
and look for answers there.
Cool. I am going to put the next point up for us. Where basically you wanted to talk about your food philosophy. I know we've already touched on it, but I'm going to leave this one into your hands.
Yes, so as I said, I try to promote sustainable practices through the classes. Like this includes even simple practices such as buying the local, the seasonal produce, and also being practical. Like we do not produce, so many different fruits and vegetables. So when that is not possible, local is not available, obviously you try to go for the low food miles, produce with low food miles, so from the nearby countries. Again, organic and fair trade. You mentioned, for example, wine earlier. I try to use organic and fair trade even to support local companies which either have their own or import organic and fair trade produce. Eating more plant-based, I mean, that is a principle which is very heavily applied in the classes, through the classes, and also reducing food waste, food and plastic waste. So any type of waste, I try to minimize the use of plastic and food waste. I'm not saying that there aren't challenges with these concepts and applying these principles, but I try to stick to these principles where possible, and be more mindful where from where food comes from, because again, as I said, the good quality food, okay, might be a little bit more expensive, but it's key. So you
Yes.
need to focus and emphasize the quality of the produce, because
Yes.
you have it there. So you really need to. You can't not focus on the primary ingredients that you're using. Also, when you have when you realize that it has such an impact on health, on the environment, including the people who produce that food. And even people coming to the classes, they expect, even trust that like their food creations held at Healthylicious Kitchen are good. And by good, I mean in taste and also good for their bodies. So I really feel that people, and they want that kind of experience, and they want something different.
Yes.
And I want to provide that through the classes. But
Amazing.
it's not easy. So
Of
I
course, I
might
can
sound,
imagine.
it's not easy, and I also face like ethical dilemmas, like what to choose, and so, but there isn't like all bad or good. So when it comes to food and health, with many issues surrounding these subjects, I think you need to strike a balance, because I think then you have to be realistic and practical as well. But every small change can have an impact. So even if it's a little, small change can have an impact on not just the individual, like the health of the individual, but that of the family, because then it's obviously a ripple effect, especially for the food prepared at home, and for the whole ecosystem, basically.
Yes.
The farmers, anyone who is
Exactly.
part of the food system.
Exactly, exactly. I do just want to mention for everyone watching the show, I have put a link in the stream of Stefania's Evently profile, so you're able actually to go have a look. There's also a video, and later on we'll be adding this video there in case anyone has any questions they want to look through the video again. And if you guys, I mean, are interested in learning more about the services as a team building activity, as a cooking class, perhaps you have an event coming up and you'd like to integrate this, you can get in touch with her. She has her Facebook page. You can get in touch with her directly. There's her Evently page. So there's a lot of means. Healthylicious by Stefania Calleja. طيب.
Thank you.
I do want to go into the next and slowly bring the show into a close, Stefania. And I'm sure, as we've done throughout the show, there's a lot of tips that you can give the audience, but perhaps you have the top 3 tips that you would recommend for everyone viewing today.
Okay, so let me think about it.
It can be
So
about sustainability. It can be about choosing the right type of event for an activity.
well, for everyone, watching our audience, my message really lies with like food appreciation. So I think if we appreciate more the food that we're using, we're preparing in a more sacred way. I mean, a huge word, but yes, I think we do not appreciate food so much, especially in recent years. As I mentioned earlier, there's this connection between the food, where it comes from, and us, consuming that food. And if we start with appreciating more the food that we eat, other things will just come and fall easily in place. Like if then you become more conscious about, for example, wasting food. Okay, but it all boils down to appreciating the food. So I think that is the main
Very
message.
good. You are what you eat.
Um, yes. Okay. It starts with you, and the choices that you make. Because sometimes we expect things to come from up above. The who is in power, but really and truly, we can vote with our food. Okay, so the food we buy, we have that power. So I think
I'm a
we
strong
can all.
believer in what you are saying completely, even just with regards, for example, sometimes you're recommended with a doctor to go into a certain type of medication, but when realistically you start searching and understanding it, this is things, anything is always able to be fixed through the food that you are using,
Yes.
what you are putting in your body, what you are giving everyone around you.
So that is key, I think. And I would also like to invite the audience to go and check out my Facebook page, because there are a lot of free resources there, which they can basically make use of, like recipes. They're uploaded as photos, so they can check out the photo section, and they are downloaded, so they are downloadable, and they can be saved for later.
Super.
And when COVID hit, way back in March, and many people were cooking more at home, as we mentioned, I decided to upload all the recipes which featured on TV and used for other events, other work which I do. So they are all, there's a free recipes folder. They're there, so
Cool.
anyone can make use of them.
Cool, cool.
So
Again, now for all our viewers, I will link right after the show ends. I will link her Facebook page, so you're able to go in and find these videos. And I'm also going to link Stefania in case you have any questions or anything else that they'd like to add. Because it's not just people that are viewing us through the show, which I want to say thank you to everyone that has been viewing the shows. But after, people later in the evening, this is why I like these live shows, because later on in the evening, a person can have cooked dinner and they're finally relaxing after a day's work, and they start watching these videos, putting their comments and everything. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Stefania.
thank you.
I'm going to go into the last point for you, which is basically,
Mhm.
I always ask, I always want to know the future. What you have planned for Healthylicious, if you have any current projects that you're working on, and you'd like to give us a sneak peek out.
Um, Well, I'm not going to take that long. So, but when I embarked on this adventure way back in 2013, I never imagined that I could arrive where I am today. So I can't really tell how far I can go with this project, and also considering that I work on this alongside other work, including voluntary work and study commitments. So I can't really tell that much, and I work much. Like an impromptu kind of thing. But I've been open to explore new possibilities, new experiences, and I'm pretty sure that I will keep this outlook and always be willing to evolve with this project, because it's like an extension of, it's part of what I do, part of me. And also, I think it will evolve according also to the client's requests and different situations. So I'm open to, and then any request I will, because it's a service which I offer. It's not a, so it is molded with the client's request, really. So
Cool. Super. I think that's an
That is what I
amazing
can say.
answer. Don't worry. You're a really great person, Stefania. I've had a really good time on this show. There's a lot of things that I learned about you today that I didn't know beforehand. And I'd like to say well done to you because you have such a
Thank
background and you've taught yourself. You're not just here to make the money and just do something, but you actually have put that level of learning and understanding to actually give something that you're happy with giving out 100%. And there's a lot
It's my
of
passion.
knowledge
So
in the background. You can tell straight away when you're talking, even just the way you're communicating on your body language. There's a lot of knowledge behind you. So I definitely recommend anyone that is looking to do an activity that you can help out with to contact you. I'm going to say thank you
thank
for the
you.
last time, Stefania. I don't know if there's anything final that you'd like to add to the show today.
No,
Super. All right.
just thank you.
Cool. Cool. Glad to have you on the show. I hope to see you soon. I'm going to wave you goodbye. Ciao, ciao. See you next time.
Thank you. Thanks, Alberta.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
So there you have it, guys. Stefania Calleja from Healthylicious. There's a lot of information that she's given out today, a lot of things that we have learned. And I really do think that putting cooking skills and different things that we can learn off and putting them into team building activities, fun events that we're doing together with our friends or family, it just creates something that is a memory. And if we're spending X amount to do it, then might as well create something that you're actually going to remember, like this hen parties, Mother's Day. There's 100 different things that we can do. As she mentioned, she also does things with children. I, I really, really think, however, with corporate, having that culinary experience with the team, so you're completely getting a company outside of their box, that particular team, and putting them into something else that is, yeah, you have people that are very they don't really go into the kitchen and do that much, and then you have other people that are experts and doing it to start to finish. I definitely recommend you guys contact Stefania. Thank you everyone for watching the show, and I do look forward to seeing you guys next time. Ciao, bye.